This is from Reddit, so we'll read into this. I mean, let me read this. You sent this to me, Mike. A trusted source from the Comedy Store told me that Delia has beef with Brendan. I work for a large entertainment company in L.A., and I know a few of the Comedy Store employees / comedians. I was told Chris and Will were both surprised to be on The Fighter and the Kid a few months ago with Bryan, but Brendan put the kibosh on it, saying he didn't want them doing TMP episodes.
10-minute podcast.
10-minute podcast episodes on The Fighter and the Kid channel. Or just Will showed up and Chris said he's never doing a podcast with Brendan again. Now, we don't know if that's true. Obviously, we have no idea.
But we did see this. I got to give credit to Z. Or I'm sorry, let me do it as Artie Lang. I'm going to give credit to Scion TC. Subscribe to Scion TC. He doesn't knock off early. But it was Scion TC, a.k.a. Kyle, that actually found. By the way, to Kyle's credit, I got to give him credit. He's a funny dude. I played the Artie Lang cameo, promoting, and he kept saying, instead of saying Saiyan Z, he kept saying Scion Z. So I was like, Scion TC, and then I played the clip from Frisky Dingo, the all-new Scion TC! And I got that Tomash guy that follows us and follows Red Bar, he sent me a screenshot. This motherfucker changed the name of his backup channel to Scion TC. And I was like, you know what? God damn it, Kyle. Salud. But he found this.
So who's Benji Alfie?
No idea. I wasn't even concerned with who he was. I was more concerned with who liked this tweet.
Who liked this? Well, let me read the tweet and then you can tell me who liked it. MMA fighters who do stand-up comedy and hot girls who just learned to kind of skateboard are the most respected people in America.
And this tweet was liked by none other than Chris D'Elia.
Really?
Yes. And it was, it was very quiet on the DL. Like, these guys are all very careful over there in LA. They don't just, it's in the old days where they can just be like, fuck Brendan Schaub. I think he's a faggot. You can't, because then, there's people at the Comedy Store going, hey, we've got Brendan on Thursday nights. What are you doing? Like, there's a whole, so they're always kind of nice, but this is the way they take their jabs at each other. They're all women. They're all women out there. So this is I don't know. So Sanzi noticed this and wanted to.
Can I give a quick shout out to Bass Frequency's new review? He had made a new review
not.
Okay, you're right.
He shan't be mentioned on this program.
Bass Frequency made a new review for Brendan Schaub's Showtime special, and it already has like 500,000 views. It's doing. Nobody likes this guy. No. This is somebody they're forcing on. So I figured we watched a little bit of this. This was The Fighter and the Kid. When Whitney Cummings was on with Crisscross Applesauce Callan and CTE comic Brendan Schaub. Let's just watch a little bit. I like to see people flow, and these are all comics, so these guys are going to... also, take your shoes off the table. All right, sorry.
No, that's a different.
So why am I into it?
But let me ask you,
why am I into it?
But the bigger question for me is, it's serial killers when they're in jail. Is that just a woman? Is that just a woman who wants a guy who's in one place?
There's a small.
They know where he's going to be.
Yeah, he can't cheat.
Errol Morris did a documentary on this, I think, about some women are just attracted to the boogeyman. Mm-hmm. They want it's the same kind of impulse of somebody who wants a lion as a pet.
But here's the thing:
you can pet it, but just don't let it out of the.
Look at.
He is. You know what this feels like?
He has to. He has to hop in. He can't let him finish his sentence. He can't. He won't let him finish.
Like I interrupt you sometimes, you interrupt me sometimes, but overall our batting average is pretty high. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This is a constant.
It's perpetual.
Yeah. Just let him talk.
But it's not even interrupting to add something of substance. Like, I understand interrupting somebody if you got a really good line, like I got to get this line in. It's interrupting just to go, duh! Okay.
Thanks,
man.
Thanks, bud.
The cage.
But it also has to do with whether you're on birth control or not. If you're on birth control, your brain actually thinks you're pregnant. It releases hormones as if you're pregnant, so you're attracted. You smell pheromones differently, so you're attracted to men that are more dangerous.
I carry a knife
because your body. Oh god.
Oh god.
Are we on camera?
I carry a fucking blade. Keep going. What were you saying? What were you saying? I got a scar. Look at my fucking chin.
Do you have scars?
You're joking about that, but that is the kind of attitude that they have. That tough guy like attitude. All right, Brendan's about to give us some knowledge here.
4.
Yeah,
Women
tiny.
didn't like him. He was 5'4".
Wow.
He still had marriage proposals and when he was young.
When he was in prison,
When he was in prison, not when he was like when he had the whole family and stuff. He's like everyone was so drugged up, and that's what the defense of the girls who committed those murders, even though they're like 20, 21, they said they weren't in the right frame of mind because they were so drugged all the time.
what kind of?
He wants to be Papa Rogan so bad. You see that, right? You could. He watched this fucking. Here's what happened. He's so dumb. He watched some sort of Manson documentary that was on or something at night before he was going to bed, before his mush brain went to sleep, and he was like, "Okay, I'll repeat these facts to sound smart today."
But he was also half asleep.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like, it's drugged up, and they were all like, I don't know, man.
Like amphetamines?
LSD.
Oh
nonstop.
wow.
And there's evidence of LSD where you can like manipulate the mind.
Manipulate. Don't you hear when LSD manipulates the minds? You fucking boob.
I wouldn't talk this badly if I got punched by a pro UFC fighter 5 minutes ago.
No, you're right. He is
really-
just a dumb person.
And he'd make them change their name. No news. No
Is he wearing stockings?
phones. No, they can't call anyone. So he'd create this environment around them. Like, this isn't a big deal. We got to kill these people.
How do you explain the women that show up to the Ted Bundy trial that are in love with him, that are fans?
They want
Thirsty hoes.
Yeah, they want to change him. They understand.
I'm gonna be the one.
I'm the one. It's
I'm the
that
one.
infantile.
You know how crazy that is?
Yeah. Have you seen
He's
though?
misunderstood.
You know how crazy it is for a fucking guy who clearly has brain damage to get a Showtime special with like putting no work into the comedy business? And Rogan's been hinting at this a lot without actually saying it, but Rogan was saying stuff like I don't understand people that all they do, he didn't say Brendan's name, but he did say, I don't understand people that all they do is they question why somebody became famous. Like, why is that a big deal? Like, you need to work hard. Don't question why other people are famous. No, we're going to question why people are famous, especially if it's phony and it's manipulated. Because the problem is you're trying to pass off a dog turd as being some sort of fucking comic. You and your little buddies, all of your little fucking buddies, that outside of a couple of them, because I think Will Sasso's very funny. I think
Will Sasso's hilarious.
Chris D'Elia is very funny.
Chris D'Elia is very funny.
And I've grown to like Theo Vaughn. But
yeah, I like Theo.
But there's some turds you're trying to pass off just because you're buddies, Joe, and people are noticing.
Even and I gotta say this: his voice is annoying, his way of dressing is annoying. He's obnoxious. The Red Bar audience hates his guts, but I can even get by on a few Tony Hinchcliffe stuff. Like I can't. You can't convince me that Kill Tony isn't a great show, because it is a good show. It's a show that when I see it go live, I'm like, I'm not probably gonna rush to click it. But if I'm just fucking around on YouTube and I see it's live, I'm like, oh yeah, Kill Tony's on. So like it's I'm not gonna let even sometimes my dislike of somebody let me deny that I think somebody's good. But there are a couple guys out there that are kind of funny or doing a good product. But most of them are just awful and offer nothing.
But the problem is a lot of people, like we were just mentioning earlier with Chris and Will and all that stuff. I think a lot of people are. There's no way as a human being, right? Like there's already a lot of jealousy with comics. There's always been, right? I mean, that's part of the life. I think one of the funniest bits ever was Patrice trying to figure out why Dimitri Martin made money. Remember that on O&A where he's like, stop the drawing shit. That's like, and he's like, he was still being cool. Like, I mean, whatever, if you can like it. But it was like, so there's always that jealousy. But again, there's a difference between, like, for example, like how Patrice O'Neal was kind of making fun of Dimitri Martin. Say what you want, Dimitri Martin. He does sell out venues. He's been in the fucking business. He's a stand-up. He's done his shit, right? There's an audience for him. Who is Brendan Schaub's audience? Because his reviews are terrible. And they're force-feeding this guy down our throats. There's a video of Brendan making fun of other people having too many podcasts not too long ago. He has 3 now. And there's literally no reason. And people go, whoa, what about the fight commentary stuff? Just because you're a fighter doesn't make you a good fight commentator.
No.
You
And he
know what I
actually
mean?
doesn't know anything about that sport.
No, he doesn't know anything.
Like Joe Rogan was good at that because Joe Rogan is obsessed with MMA. Like,
Right.
It's not something Joe Rogan had to sit down and learn, like, because he was getting a check for it. Like, it was something he's always organically been really into because he's got some kind of homoerotic, fucking fixation on this shit. But for whatever reason, he likes it and he's into it. So he knows all these guys' stats. He's just autistic when it comes to MMA. Brendan Schaub is the guy that comes in and is like, just give me my notes and whatever, we'll talk about fights. And it's like, you don't know anything. You're not passionate about it.
And then he contradicts himself all the time, too. He doesn't remember his own lies. That's the other problem with being supremely stupid, is that you don't remember your own lies.
Another Jameson.
Yeah, okay.
If a guy tries
I
to
got big
watch,
fish to
watch.
fry.
oh Jesus Christ, that
Knocks
guy.
him out.
Walks away, grabs his beer, and walks the fuck off.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say now specifically to Callan. I'm going to say to Callan the same thing that he said about us. What do? You just sit there and watch other people's videos and talk shit about them?
This guy's never played an organized sport in
Yeah.
his life.
It's easy to be out here, Brian, and make fun of videos.
Why aren't you out crushing puss, Brian?
Really, these people do the same thing everybody else does, and then they say, "Why are you making fun of us?"
And then they also watch these videos and add nothing to them.
Yeah, there'll be
Nothing.
nothing. I think Whitney Cummings is terrible too. On top of all
People
that.
yell at us because we pause the videos and talk too much. So say what you want. We add to it, whether you like it or not.
That was a heavy punch.
Down for 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's Andy's
Oh, that's
fucked
a
up,
huge
man.
punch.
Yeah,
Crazy.
But all we know is was that a game? Was it a gay bar and he grabbed the guy's dick?
Oh, that's what
So
I
I feel
heard.
like that's how they shake hands.
I didn't think it was a gay.
All right. Well,
Did
here
you
it
hear
is.
his joke? No. He grabbed the gay guy's dick, and that's how they shake hands. You missed his fucking humor. It's quick.
We all did.
It's witty.
It is. And by the way, there is no spin on it. Like, oh, what did he do? He was being Andy Dick,
Yeah.
and he got knocked the fuck out. Because Andy Dick is a guy that everybody should knock the fuck out when you engage him, because he's gonna grab your dick or lick your face or fucking try to rape you in an Uber allegedly. I don't know. So yeah, usually the appropriate response with Andy Dick is to punch him in the face. Even John Lovitz, a man who you would never ever hear a story about, beat the shit out of Andy Dick and slammed his face into a table. Like, you know what I mean? When even John Lovitz can't resist kicking your fucking ass, you might have a personality defect.
Yeah, and Andy Dick is somebody who's. I mean, it's been decades of these stories. It's not even like recent. It goes back to what was that show he was on? Those days, his co-hosts were like, I can't hate him. He can't him. He's terrible. He always comes in. He's always fucked up, and it's not even like someone who's all fucked up, but he's always fucked up, but is funny.
Yeah,
he's not even a funny guy.
Yeah, because there's plenty of stories over the years of guys that were like big weed or alcoholics or like whatever pillheads, but like they came in and they banged out. They say pretty much for the most part on set, Charlie Sheen was fine. Until his meltdown, until he started like towards when the shit really started getting bad towards the end. But like for the most part, that guy would fucking smoke his crack and get drunk and show up and be like, all right, let's do it. What's my script here? And just glance over it and be like, nail it in one take and leave. But like other guys are just, they're just fucking intolerable.
Now looking at this, I do have a question. You think all these Rogan comics have done more spots at the Comedy Store on Whitney Cummings' pussy? Because I've heard some stories about Whitney Cummings.
I know she.
I've just heard stories. I'm not going to be.
I can only say that from what I heard, she moved up the ladder very quickly, shockingly quick.
And it's not that difficult to climb a ladder on your back.
Ali Makovsky quick. Oof. What? I'm just illustrating the speed at which they're moving up the.
Now, can you transfer alpha brain through sperm?
I don't know, but I don't.
I'm just asking the question.
What you're implying.
I'm not implying anything. I'm asking a question for people that are on alpha brain.
Maybe it's a nootropic, Royce. It helps your brain do stuff.
Yeah, you know what helps your career do stuff?
Sucking a dick.
Yeah, swinging a dick.
Sucking a dick.
Every single time.
I
I don't like the fact too that they have Anthony Cumia's theater chairs in the studio.
Yeah.
The cup holders in them and everything.
I just saw red. Like something happened to me where I was like, this guy's trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah.
And I'm on stage.
Yeah.
And I, you know me, I have that temper. Like what happens is I have such a long fuse. But then once I see red,
You got a problem.
it's a
Really?
problem. I'm really
Oh, yeah,
bad.
real bad.
I'm gonna
Really?
fight. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna go crazy.
You're a
on you.
50-something-year-old man, dude. Stop it.
Yeah, why are you still saying that like it's?
Because I used to be that
That's
way.
not a good thing in your 50s, man. You should be calm. Calm down.
I was like that up until 29, maybe. That was like I too got in some scraps that were avoidable. I got in some fist fights that were avoidable. I did a lot of coke and drank. There was a lot of punchy, kicky, window breaky type shit that went on in my 20s. But you're a 50-something-year-old man.
You know who shouldn't have that temper? Somebody who had a wife and kids. Because the thing is, when you have that temper, and I kind of do know people that have that. Just I'd sit, I'm fighting. That's it. The problem with that is you don't just shut it off when you're at home. You know, it's on all the time.
And I still have a temper, but like, I don't know, man. It's called learning and improving yourself. Like my temper, Royce knows, like my temper and my brooding isn't nearly as bad as it was in my 20s. Because at times when I get really pissed, I just kind of go like, I'm going to revisit this later. You know what I mean? I'm going to go smoke some weed. I'm going to clear my head. I'm not addressing this now because you know what I mean? Like when you get that way, you're like, I'm going to go for a walk. Go for a walk. I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to have a drink and just going to, And then after a couple hours, you just go like, hey, look, man, that really fucking pissed me off, really. You know what I mean? And then you sit there and you go like just, you know what I mean? But, you know, find it, you know, it's like the same way we like if you're in a relationship and you're married, like sometimes you got to go, hey, look, man, look, fucking, I'm not saying your point wasn't valid earlier, but let's work on a different way to say that next time. Because I wanted to throw this through a fucking window and I don't want to go there. So I had to go for my little walk. And now I'm back and let's chill. But like these people, 50-something years old, somebody's saying too much HRT. I'm sure is a part of it.
Well, but you know, it's also, this is the other thing. Like I even understand people that have a short fuse, people that came up rough, you know, people that they came up in a really bad household where they were getting beat all the time, or
like Bryan Callen, he comes from the streets, bro.
This is what bothers me.
Streets.
Where's this attitude from? Your parents were rich investment bankers. Am I correct by saying that? Rich investment bankers. You had an in Hollywood. You've been on Mad TV since in your 20s. Where's your life been hard? Where did you develop this street fighting attitude from? From going to Eyes Wide Shut parties, which he said himself. I'm not saying he said that himself. Going to Eyes Wide Shut parties and these really weird ritual things that you did, where people fed you dates and they sucked your dick and it didn't matter if it was a guy or a girl. Is that where
you know?
Well,
whatever I was gonna say, guy or a girl, or you know. Not really checking IDs, you know.
Yeah,
those kind of
some
parties.
places they don't check IDs, but we don't know. We're just saying.
Just trying to find a gentle way, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't card everybody.
Where the fuck have you had it rough?
But yeah, that's where the difference is too. Like, where these people like this, you're just a bully. You're just a dickhead. Like, there's enough stories of Bryan Callen where they're like, Bryan Callen likes to fight people at bars, and we've seen clips of people saying that, and it's like, okay, then you're just a fucking asshole.
If you're always the one, if you're always the one getting into a fight, at some point it's you. You know?
No, but it's cool, man. It's cool when you're 52 years old. Like, again, I had to get past a lot of shit in my 20s. A lot of fucking seriously broken car windows, and you know what I mean? People fighting, not always even winning, but you know, because everybody always goes, "Yo, Merch does a fake tough guy act." I'm not even saying I won all those fights. I'm just saying that there was a time in my 20s where there's a lot of coke and fighting and just anger and a lot of self-loathing, but you're supposed to move past that at some point in your life. Like, you know, the perfect proof is at the Moore rally. I mean, you know, like I shoved Joey Gibson and it got a little tense, but like. There's a certain thing where the both of us were like, we need to recognize that this is going to end with us looking like the dickheads. And
right.
You got to just think a little bit. Like, this guy doesn't have any complex, like, train of thought in his adult life, and that's pretty weird. Like, he's just, I don't give a fuck, bro. I'll fucking fight that guy right now. You're 52. Like, I think of things in terms of this now because I'm older. Like, because I don't have kids, right? But let's say I had a kid. Bryan's got kids. He's got kids that he doesn't see as much as he used to.
Well, to be fair, he's crushing puss now instead,
which is fun when you're 52. When you have kids, right? Like if I had a kid, that kid would be my life. I would want to make sure that kid has a father. I want to make sure that kid, doesn't grow up without his dad. So it's when you fucking like at a bar and some guy's like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" You're supposed to think like, what if I get punched in the head, right, and I fall down like that goofy bitch in $1 Million Baby on some stool and I break my neck or can't provide for you? You know what I mean? Like you're out here street fighting people, and you can potentially get killed in almost any street fight.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it can happen.
It can happen, of course.
You can get hurt. You can get disabled. You can lose income. So, like, as a father, why do you want to be out there fighting people? Wouldn't your goal to be to get home safely to your kids? Just getting arrested, embarrassing your kids at their school.
Again, nobody wants to have to explain. No, you don't ever want to be the guy that they go, he's just like that. You don't ever, you know what I mean? You don't want to be like, he gets angry.
That's Royce. Yeah,
you don't want ever that be said about you. That especially at that age. Again, instead of being home with your now ex-wife, there's a lot of darkness in you, Callan. You can shit on everybody if you want. You could look, man. I'm not even saying if I got into a fight with maybe Bryan Callen would fucking whoop my ass. It's not about. I'm not one of those guys.
He is a legit black belt.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
whatever.
I'm not one of those guys that would ever say something like, "Oh yeah, we'll kick your ass." Probably, out of the 3 dudes here. Out of the 3 boys that are sitting here,
I'll take my chances with Brendan.
I would take.
From what I hear, Callen's street fight record's actually better than Brendan's professional one.
But out of these guys, I mean, obviously, I could beat up the woman, but and maybe even Whitney Cummings too. But my point is like that is what we talk about all the time. People that think that in your 50s or in your 40s, winning a street fight makes you look cool or determines your worth is fucking retarded. Like, that is a dumb reason to determine whether you're it's not like the good works you've done or whether you've accomplished something or whether you've actually, it's like, oh, I won a street fight. Look at me, I'm the man. That's great, but that doesn't help you hug your kids. You know what I mean? That doesn't help you provide for your family. Especially when you're just out there getting into fights with you. Because let's be honest, it's not that I have a long fuse until I get angry. You have a long fuse until you get drunk, Bryan. That's the real thing. That's what it is.
And again, he's had people on Rogan that have said like they would go out seeking out fights, like looking for people to fight at bars. That's not a fuse situation. That's not people. That's you going out and looking for somebody and going, "What the fuck are you looking at, faggot?" And then somebody going like, "Who the fuck you calling faggot?" You know what I mean? And then beating them up. That's not the same. It's just people like this are gross.
It's a little bit more.
But this guy was
and
crazy.
You say nothing.
But that's how with Mark, I was thinking, if these guys got on stage, let's say I knocked them out, is Adam going to kick me out of the comments?
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No. I remember. Were you there the night?
So wait, he's allowed to knock people out and not get kicked out of the No, they would never kick you out. That's why you have one of those parking spots that only the regulars get because you have preferential treatment at that fucking place because you know the right people. Isn't that right, Brendan?
Yeah, and I'm like, look, I'm not saying like, I'm not saying to like if you live in California to go start shit with Bryan Callen at the Comedy Store when he's there every night and eventually get that club suit. I wouldn't do that.
No, of course
but
not.
Like back when I was younger though. When I was younger, I would have went in there and I would have taken the ass kicking from Bryan Callen just so I could sue the Comedy Store and go, well, you fostered this environment by allowing him to do this on a regular basis in here. I'm just saying, like, I would never encourage other people to do that, though.
Night that someone rushed the stage on Steve Byrne in the OR.
No.
It was wild, and it happened so fucking fast. And because
wait, it was wild that people were at a Steve Byrne show.
Luckily, he was injured, but luckily they were able to get him to the ambulance quickly because there wasn't a large crowd.
Remember that I've actually seen Steve Byrne live once, and I'll tell you why. In the Fort Lauderdale Improv, for example, many times
Just give you free tickets.
Yeah, because when they don't sell out, so we just got a free ticket. Like, fuck it, we're not doing anything. Let's go see Steve Byrne. Like, let's not. He's not burning things. That's just Sullivan's son, Asian guy.
You're not burning things down. I see what you did there.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm really sorry.
The OR at the Comedy Store is so dark that I trip every time I walk
And
off stage.
tiny.
I'm like, thanks everyone. Like always, you like stub your fucking toe or you.
Ha! Just a bunch of comics talking about their comic
Inside
life.
lingo.
Inside humor,
Stuff
guys.
you fucking civilians wouldn't
You
understand.
fucking assholes. You wouldn't get it.
Like hit yourself in the shin. You're like, fuck. So I remember someone came, and Steve Byrne doesn't play around.
No.
Like I don't think I didn't.
He's
know
also
that.
the best guy in the world.
I didn't know that about Byrne because he's the nicest fucking guy. The first person that was ever nice to me in comedy. It's actually a really embarrassing story because when I first started comedy, I was on it was MySpace days, and I had gotten a spot on Last Call with Carson Daly. Don't be jealous. And I uploaded it to my MySpace.
Hell yeah. With your top 8 friends.
It
Going
got
for it.
like-
Because remember, in MySpace, you don't get Brendan's joke because they're layered. You used to have top 8 friends on MySpace. Dan Cook, Sufi.
I can't do this anymore.
Sufi.
I can't. We
Dane Cook.
It's guys,
Sufi.
folks. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. It's been a lovely time.